Hey guys, my name's Mike and welcome to my hardcore Let's Play world. And welcome to episode 17 of trying to build a Tolkien-inspired Minecraft mega world, where today's main challenge is trying to build a iron farm that will match the scale of our new villager trading hall, which eventually is gonna home over 1,000 villagers. Also, if you wouldn't mind, I'd love it if you could consider hitting that subscribe button, as it really helps me out as we are closing in on that big 10k benchmark. Anyway, let's roll the video. Well, the first problem to go ahead and tackle in this episode is probably building an actual iron farm if we're to build a factory, in which you guys may remember this room that we kind of dug out and then did nothing with, as this was our future planned area for the iron farm. Now, we are going to need to dig out an area to use for a actual iron farm, and then we'll cover the iron farm up with decoration. So let's go and see if we've got another beacon lying around somewhere, which I thought we still had another star lying around, but it turns out we don't. So taking the wither skulls, I'm just going to go ahead and try and kill the wither once more to get one more star. We could just take one of the beacons from somewhere else, but we had the skulls, we might as well oh, okay, we'll head in the other direction. Oh boy. Well, I certainly won't be making that mistake again, but we didn't die, so that's always a bonus. So I went ahead and gathered up some obsidian that we'd need for the beacons. Now I'm back up at the top. I'm going to need my Eye of Ender, so I can go ahead and make an ender chest. This is so we can carry it around and be able to place all of the shulkers inside, so we can actually go ahead and decant all of the shulkers into here now. Apparently we need more glass. Okie dokie, and we forgot our little stone ender chest here. Turns out didn't need diamonds at all actually, so we can go ahead and put them back. Luckily we have plenty of glass over where we've just been kind of throwing emeralds away. And that should be our 5th beacon in our hardcore world. Not a good job. A great job for the first minute of the video. I have, however, realized that there is a bit of a problem, as beacons require blocks of ore, and we're completely out of iron, which is why we are building this iron farm. So I do have a plan, and that plan involves diamonds. Lots and lots of diamonds. But using our ender chest, let's go and get our fortune pickaxe out, which looks like this. There, we can go ahead and put you back in there just to show off to the YouTube. So today this Minecraft boomer learnt that you should never mine a ender chest with a fortune pickaxe. Pretty straightforward to get it back though, not too difficult. Now let's try round number 2 without breaking things and nearly losing all of our stuff. So 1 stack of ore gets us 15 blocks. Is that it? Okay, we may need to go make the rest of the diamond up. Okay, after doing that, I don't think we have enough at all. So instead, I've decided we've just gone and taken the beacon from the entranceway, as we are going to be working on the entranceway soon, but it's a problem for another day, and we kind of could do with the iron, so we're taking it. In which, yes, I'm aware we should have just taken the beacon from there at the very beginning too. So heading into the iron farm, we clear out a very small area, then we get to work getting the beacon built. And there we are, there's the beacon in play. And we just need to head back to our old base and head into our precious chest, where an emerald will probably do. Then we can finally end this whole element by just putting in haste 2, allowing us to continue. And so with a pickaxe in hand, we jumped into mining out the area for the iron farm that we were going to build. Now, a big shout out to Voltrox for the video that I actually use as inspiration for this build. However, there has been several variations shared by different creators over YouTube. It's really not that hard to find if you want to go and find this design for yourself. However, that being said, 2.5 hours later, we finally got done mining everything out. And so this is the rough kind of shape that we are actually going for. I've come over here so we can grab some wood and make some spruce gates. Then we can go ahead and begin getting to work by building this area. Quick intermission to grab some glass so we don't break the beacon. Plunk. Then next up, we've got to go ahead and make the platforms for them to spawn onto, in which we have to go ahead and make a 6x17 long platform. In which I obviously ran out of stone, so I'm now out here just digging up a little bit more of the cavern to try and chip away at it whilst we gather some more. This finishes off one platform, in which we've got nothing else to do but just repeat it at the back. Actually, I changed my mind. I decided I'm just going to fill these walls in. So we don't actually need to place the walls down. No other reason than just wanted to kind of test it to see if it worked, because curiosity got the better of me. And the other side, in which I really hope it's apparent right now to all the new people that have joined us recently that I am terrible at organizing my builds and not being very careful. And yes, that was totally unscripted, but 100% on brand. As we've headed back to our old base, and we only have 3 soul sand, and we need 1 more. So I think we may be in for a very quick year. To the nether. Grab some of this, but that's out the way now. And I need to remember whilst I'm over here that we actually also need some potatoes, as we need to breed the villagers in our new second villager breeder, because I definitely didn't kill them. And then I remember we had some glass in here, and I remember we had some stone slabs in here. If you can't tell, I'm actually now at the point where I'm thinking we probably should plan ahead, so I am actually trying to plan ahead for this, just so I don't have to keep coming backwards and forwards. And for the final ingredient, we need some beds. So quick stop to get some wool. We have 10. It's enough for what we need right now, but we are definitely 100% coming back in about 20 minutes to get some more. Now, there's been a bit of a time jump, and you can see that I've kind of made the zombie platform that's designed to keep the zombie in. But as you can tell, following the tutorial, I'm noticing that I may need to actually raise the roof of this place by like 3 or 4 blocks, as this design is definitely designed to be built kind of just out above ground, and I didn't take into account the actual height needed for this. So let's jump into a time lapse. And with the room now 3 blocks taller, we can go ahead and begin to work on building the last segment of this platform, which is the villager pads, where the 3 villagers on 2 pads on each platform will sit. Right, well, we've actually gone ahead and finished the platform and the villager area. Now, there's just a few more little things we have to do, such as put water all the way along this back wall so that any golems that spawn get pushed down into this little drop area. And we also have to get villagers and zombies into these areas here. However, therein lies our problem, as the best way to get them in is from the top, which, if you already haven't cottoned on, yeah, we don't have access to it, so we're gonna have to temporarily dig out a little tunnel above the entire thing just so we can get them in. And in a convenient turn of events, I actually tried to dig through so that I could come out into the main city area to make life easier, as you can see. And hilariously, we actually came out right inside our building. Well, I've actually got an ingenious solution to actually get the villagers out. I kind of adapted the old rail system, but instead of having rail tracks go all the way over because we don't have enough iron, all we actually have to do is just push that up there, and then it'll, well, usually it came back down, but that also works. I mean, that kind of works, but it's not what we were kind of going for. But we need to go ahead and get 6 of these bad boys out of here. That may inquire some growing up, although actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I think we have to wait for 1 more. So with 6 villagers in boats, we can go ahead and begin to move them over by using workstations. And I can already tell this is going to be much more painful than it needs to be. Oh. Hey, we have 1 in. Now we just need to get 2 more. And there's a second one in there. Third one's being a little bit shy. But remember, fellow dwarves, if in doubt, boat them out. Until you're defeated, by a set of stairs. Well, we've managed to get 3 in there, and we may finally have our first one going into the second pot if we can just get him up the stairs. Come on. No, no, no. Right, so you're locked in there. So I think they're scared of the zombie. I think that's the problem. Oh, wait. That would help if we actually allowed them to get in. And it's already working. Quick sprint back to the old trading hall to grab a bunch of emeralds. Grab some name tags, and we're going to need 4. And call these Boromir. Then heading back, let's go ahead and call this one that one Uruk-hai from the first film that gets absolutely slain by Arag. Oh, poo. There we go. Now we just need to have a quick sprint round the front, as we may have seemed to have developed a slight problem here. Let's just quickly take down the beacon, and then using that bucket of lava we gathered earlier, we should be able to place you down at the back. And it's gonna get noisy. And that's the beacon taken out, and this is the farm technically working. And it turned out that one villager, which I accidentally purposely killed, actually turned out to be from the first bed. Where the heck did you come from? Turns out he jumped out, so we've got to go ahead and get another one back in there. And after a very quick bit of testing, I have realized that it's not quite working as efficiently as it should be. As you can tell, the iron golems are spawning where they shouldn't be. So we have to spawn proof it with slabs, hoping that this is a far enough area, along with quickly heading outside, where we'll also find another iron golem just chilling out. So I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of a bunch of trees and try and spawn proof above ground, and we will eventually be building over this area, so I'm not too concerned, but we do need to try and prevent the golems from spawning above so that it works as efficiently as possible, while simultaneously placing down slabs to try and spawn proof the area. And we've certainly finished a very small area. My fear is we're probably gonna have to make this way bigger, and it seems to be working much more efficiently now. However, there's only one way to find out, by giving it another quick 15-minute AFK test, where for the sake of 100% transparency, I use the replay mode to actually watch back the farm in faster speed, so I can actually understand how the spawns are working and figure out if there's any issues by being able to explore the surrounding area and figure out where things are going wrong. Nah, this is actually insane. We got like a stack and 10 of iron, but heading back up our backwards passageway, you'll see that we've actually had a golem spawn in here, and upon checking the replay, he actually spawned here really early on, so there's a chance that we could actually get about 2 stacks of iron per 15 minutes just from one setup. So let's go ahead and get this guy killed, and double checking that everywhere now has slabs so he can no longer spawn. And after a bit more experimentation, it turns out we actually can get 2 stacks every 15 minutes, which results in almost 500 per hour if my math is mathing. As we'll be able to use the iron from our new farm in trading it into emeralds, giving us XP from that, but then also we can take the emeralds and eventually we'll have clerics like these, except the clerics will be set up on this level of our villager trading hall, where we'll be able to trade in all of the emeralds that we've got from the other villagers into bottles of enchanting, giving us even more XP to repair our tools. And just in the time where I've been recording that segment, we've managed to go ahead and get another stack and 14 of iron ingots. And if you don't mind the noise, I have made an even better upgrade to our villager breeder, because now all we have to do is load it up in there, and it is a little bit funky with it being so overloaded, but whilst we wait for the villagers to grow up and to continue breeding, let's just try and push them all up here just to make our life easier in the long run. Ah, balls. Then just clear away the track. We went ahead and made a few more materials so we could head back and continue building the other 3 quadrants of the iron farm. And this was an undertaking which, I kid you not, ended up taking me the better half of about 6 hours in total to actually spend the time to not only build the platforms, but to get the zombies in there, to get the villagers in. It was a nightmare. The villagers kept dying to zombies because I didn't light the place up, and it was all stuff which could have been totally avoided had I not been a complete Minecraft boomer, but it is what it is. We move on. And that should be the last zombie didn't put into place. And yep, Boromir is in place. In which we are finally complete with the 4-tiered iron farm. And the great thing about this farm is it can actually be duplicated. And we can build another one on top of this one if we ever need a stupidly insane amount of iron. As you may have noticed as I was recording that previous segment as we finished, that there seemed to be a lack of iron golems spawning, and that's simply because of one equation. As I discovered very quickly that the iron golems were spawning on the top, as it's quite close to the roof. As you can see, there's a bunch of them around here. So we actually need to go ahead and get some of these slabs that I've just made and basically fill the entire area. Well, I've run out of slabs, so I'm gonna have to head back and grab some more. And we head back. My ass is clenched. Oh boy, I just popped my first totem. Oh boy. I got a little bit silly there. That's on me because I accidentally hit one when I was trying to build a dirt mound so I could start killing them. I should have just played it safe and came here and got some lava like I'm doing now. Never mind, I accidentally filled it in. And as I come back, I can go ahead and place down the lava and just let it kill them without taking any damage and potentially ending the hardcore let's play. 2 in 1. Nice. But it seems okay. But I'm gonna go ahead and head back inside, empty out the chest, and see just how many we get in another 15-minute test. Oh, yeah. We have the unfortunate situation that the measures we've taken so far to try and prevent the golem spawning have been completely inefficient. And it looks like we actually need to create such a bigger area to prevent these golems spawning. But as we head back inside, I think we're gonna leave that for another time, as it's almost taken me 15 hours just to get to this point in the video, and I went ahead and mined out an area as we need to move on and start considering the design of this place and building up the lore and the story behind the way that the dwarves are actually importing and smelting the iron. So with the room dug out, we head to where we dug too far and too deep and too greedily in order to gather up some cobbled deep slate for our floor build. As we get to work on the floor, it's worth just bringing it up and reminding all of the people that have joined us on this journey recently that deep slate, to make it fit into our Tolkienarian world, is basically a hardened version of stone, just so we can use it in our builds and make it make sense in a Tolkien-esque way. However, we use a very basic checkered pattern for our design, basically swapping between cobbled and normal deep slate just to give a sort of more textured, ornate look to the dwarven floor and make it feel a little bit more special and a little bit more crafted. But overall, it's a good look, and we've used it throughout almost every single building in our Dwarven Kingdom so far. And I also think it's just generally a fantastic floor design for anybody that wants just a really simple, really cheap floor, but it just looks really special, and you can elevate it to another level by adding things like borders around the room, or you can like use different darker blocks to kind of add like walkways and things. It just works. Well, that's the floorway done. Now, before we actually get ahead on constructing this entire place, I actually don't have an exact design in mind, but I do have a rough idea of what we're going to need. So I'm going to go ahead and gather everything up so we can take it with us. Quick pit stop for some string. And a quick trade in for redstone. We should then be able to craft some droppers. And crafting a couple of crafting benches later should give us the auto crafter. And that should be everything we need. And so the first thing I want to do is go ahead and build a walkway kind of border using the same lamp technique that we used in our main hallway. So it should look a little bit something like this. Then we can repeat it on the other side. And just a very quick recap for all the new faces here. We used a special elven infused oil as part of the lore for our redstone lamps. So that way we can kind of suggest that the lamps burn for a very long time, which allows us to use them in our dwarven builds. And I wouldn't be continuing on my trend if I didn't run out of glowstone. And one quick visit to the nether, aka Morgoth's underworld. And there's 4 more. Finishing off our little runway of light. So next up on the list is to go ahead and get our auto craft system built. Now we are going to be hiding it within a sort of smeltery kind of furnace looking building. However, we need to get the backbones of it built, which requires coming down here. And first we need to go ahead and get rid of all of this current system, where the idea is to have a simple dropper system where we have a really simple redstone clock which we can sort of turn on and off, where connecting this up should begin to spit iron out exactly like that. So stage 1 is complete. Then we can use a simple water highway to send it down into a small soul sand area. Then with some jiggery pokery and going backwards and forwards, we should, if we go ahead and turn this on. And as a side note, I also moved the switch as it was on the other side of a chunk border, and I know that that tends to cause issues. But that should be sending stuff up there, and yep, we are now receiving stuff in this hopper, so everything is going as planned. I am also very quickly realizing that I probably might need to pull this design out by like 1 block just so we can try and fit our really badly built contraption within this area. Oh, that should about do. Mine down to Y56, and with a small room hollowed out, we can go ahead and place down 2 double chests. And this has very quickly turned into a redstone nightmare that I was not prepared for. Turning this system back on, and just for the sake of testing it, we'll throw all of the iron that we've got into there. Seems to be working so far. And with the auto crafter working, I could turn my attention to designing and building the furnace that was gonna smelt these iron blocks in our newfound iron factory. Now, I didn't really have a particular plan in mind. I really wanted to try and scale this build up by about 10 times. However, in order to get this video done in time, I had to scale back a lot of things, so we may even come back to this in the future and expand upon it and make it bigger and make it just way more impactful. But my basic premise was just building a furnace that looked a little bit menacing and a little bit dark, but had functionality by using things like the magma blocks to insinuate that it was full of iron ore. I probably could have made it much better. The only thing I don't like is I tried to kind of make this little outlet thing. Some of you may recognize this kind of influence I got from one of the old smeltery mods that you used to be able to use on Minecraft. However, I'm going to go ahead and move on from this for now, as I want to kind of cover up as much stone as possible and make the room look more crafted and built. And that should be that done. Now there's only kind of this bit of the roof and this wall to kind of complete. Then we also need to go ahead and build like the 2 window things at the top here, where we're going to have like the imports and the outports, and then we need to build a crane. So let's get to work. So I've gone ahead and done a little bit more decorating and kind of just finished off the whole room, and I've got an idea about what I want to do up there, but I'm going to need to kind of build my way up, where we'll start off using walls and some of the lanterns just to add a bit of light so we don't have any mobs spawning up here, because you guys know that we're trying to make this as efficient as possible. Now I'm trying to design a sort of very basic stone looking system that's going to hold what's going to be 2, possibly 3 beams going across. There's 1 done. And whilst my brain was thinking about it, I 100% got sidetracked into just removing the stairs and basically bringing them back a bit, as I felt like we needed to have a little bit more of a runway, and it would help make the actual furnace area just look a lot more imposing by bringing it back, thus revealing the actual structure a lot more. Sort of like this. Next up, we went ahead and designed a conveyor belt. Looking something like that. It's looking pretty sick, and I'm actually trying to design it so that it's kind of hidden in the wall, just as I'm having a bit of trouble building the conveyor belt underneath. I could put some string down, and then we could have like a raised bit of carpet, but that's kind of as high as we're gonna get it. And now we just have to repeat it on the other side. And grabbing some of our iron blocks, we can go ahead and create a sort of artificial pile, trying to just keep it random and make it look as if we've got like iron going out and coming in. Then we're creating a bunch of chains, and we've gone ahead and added some iron blocks onto the conveyor belt to make it look as if it's kind of coming out of the foundry and onto here, where we're going to have the export system that takes it up into the transport system and takes it elsewhere. However, that's going to be a problem for another day. Oh boy, it's definitely 100% a good job that we've come out here to continue putting down slabs, because this is why the iron farm is so inefficient. And we need to start wrapping this project up, as we don't have a lot of time left, so I decided to finish off by placing down a bunch of half slabs, hoping that we can help spawn proof the above ground area to prevent the iron golems from spawning. However, we won't know how effective this actually is until we come back and do some AFK tests, as we did earlier on in the video. And unfortunately, that's all we've got time for this week. I am so sorry that I couldn't get more done in this episode. You guys know me, I always overpromise and slightly underdeliver, but this project is an ongoing series, so don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and hit the like button, as it greatly helps me out. But I'm going to go ahead and end this episode here, and unfortunately I didn't quite get done what I wanted to, but this place still looks cool as a start nonetheless, and there's a lot we can do to improve this and make it look even cooler. However, I am on vacation next week, so unfortunately videos are going to be a little bit sparse. I'm going to try and get some videos out over the next couple of weeks, but I can't make any promises, as I really want to try and chillax a little bit, because I'm a little bit overworked and underpaid. But other than that, guys, I've really enjoyed this series so far, so I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.